Good afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Bailey Braun, and all across Southeast we know it's just been a lot of active weather. Bad news, there is a lot more rain heading your way with a secondary system as well. Now across the state we're actually going to be seeing some clearer skies as well as these much colder temperatures. So I'll tell you all that you can expect into this work week. Now here is just a live look right now. You can't really see Ketchikan because it's too dark, but all across from Fairbanks down to South Central, snow has scattered across the region. Now we've mostly been seeing this in higher elevation regions, and the southwestern portion of the interior did get quite a bit of snow as well. But these temperatures are actively on the decline. Now this snow is not going to stick around for too long. We have mostly dry conditions all through this week for most places across the state. Now of course Southeast is really the only exception to that. So as we look ahead to the next big impact, and especially the next big thing for those of us in the interior and South Central where we've been having all of this snow and where we had that snow last night, make sure that you're shoveling and you're blowing your snow out of the way. You know, if we do have any more snow coming our way, which isn't any time this week, but you just want to make sure that that's out of the way, especially on roofs. I've said it before, but that's really an important thing because you never know. But of course those colder temperatures are returning this week for South Central, with these lows dropping into the negatives, and for the interior your lows are going to drop down to -40, even close to -50 in some of these areas. But for Southeast Alaska, brace for more of this heavy rainfall on the way, as a second storm is on the way by Tuesday. So here's just a look as of tonight. What we're looking ahead to, more of that rain continuing on across the region with snow in those higher elevation regions. Now across the state you can see relatively dry conditions. Calm and clear is what we're seeing way out west and even into the interior. But for Southeast, that's where we're seeing more of this heavy rainfall moving in with that snow in those higher elevation regions. Now, this is for Monday afternoon, but I want you to pay attention to what happens as Tuesday rolls around. That second storm begins to push in. That's going to bring a lot more rain to you. Between 2 to 3 inches is expected into Tuesday. But of course, all of that rain, it's not going to really have anywhere to go as more of the snow begins to melt, and these drainage systems are still blocked by some of this snow. So it's really important to stay aware of the avalanche risks as well as this flooding risk. Now, flooding risk is still ongoing. We do have a flood watch until tomorrow morning issued across most of the region, but especially for the southern portion of the Panhandle. If you live in Ketchikan or the surrounding areas in the southern part of the region, be ready for more of that heavy snow to really hit you hardest. Now for Juneau, of course, the biggest concern is still that avalanche risk. So be sure to stay informed at the CBJ website, and we also have some live updates on our website as well if you wanted to check in and just see how things have progressed through the last 24 and 48 hours with this rain and all of this avalanche risk as well. Now these peak wind gusts have been pretty strong in Southeast. We saw some pretty strong winds out in the Aleutian chain up to 48 and even 51 miles per hour, but down into Ketchikan we actually saw some pretty strong wind gusts today into 61 miles per hour. Now we did also see some of these stronger wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, and we've seen a lot of these flights getting canceled as a result of this weather, not just because of the rain but because of the winds being a really strong impact. But these winds are likely to increase as we progress into the work week. We have that second storm that's heading your way, and that means that wind gusts could range up to 60 and 70 miles per hour, mostly for Tuesday night, but heading into Wednesday as well. So with these weather alerts for you in Southeast, obviously that avalanche advisory is still ongoing for Juneau, so be aware of where that avalanche risk is and if you are within that avalanche zone. But of course, like I mentioned, you can refer to the CBJ website for that map where it highlights the danger zone. But high wind watch will be in effect all across the entire region from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, with wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And that flood watch is still ongoing until tomorrow morning. Again, the biggest concern is mostly for the southern portion of the region with that additional flooding as a result of this excess runoff and that snow melt and continued rainfall. Now, across the state in some of these other areas, colder temperatures are making their return, which means that wind chill is going to be another big impact for you. So if you're working outside, or if you're going outside, or you're going to scrape off any ice or snow that may potentially still be on your car, just be aware, because this wind chill is dropping pretty significantly into this work week. Now, up into the north slope, you'll see negative 58 degrees for potential wind chill. That means it's less than 2 minutes before frostbite sets in. So be sure to always bundle up, wear your gloves, wear your hat, wear anything that you need to keep yourself warm. But I do also want you to pay attention to what this is going to look like into Tuesday with wind chill dropping to negative 60 degrees potentially in Kotzebue. So obviously it's going to be really cold along the western side of the state, obviously in the north slope, but especially for the western side of the state from Kotzebue all the way down into the Bristol Bay area. That's where we're seeing some really cold temperatures dropping. Now for the southeast region, of course, more rain on the way to you. Expect rain every day for the next 7 days. You're going to see that rain throughout the entire 7-day forecast when I pull that up, but these temperatures are still staying above freezing, which is good news because that means you're not going to be in a thawing and freezing pattern. However, bad news is that with these warmer temperatures continuing, that's only going to be more and more of the snow melt as well as more and more of that rain likely. So just get ready for more of that active weather on the way, especially by Tuesday into Wednesday. That's when the next biggest impact is going to come. But for the interior, you're going to clear up and dry out just a little bit, mostly cloudy skies over the region, but these overnight lows are dropping significantly. You're going to mostly see this Monday night and Tuesday night with those colder temperatures. But for tomorrow, get ready for your low to be between negative 20 and negative 19 and negative 26 degrees. Now for the north slope, these colder temperatures also settling in, mostly cloudy skies with some light flurries stretching into Dead Horse as well as Anaktuvik, but these winds are staying calm with sustained winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now for the western side of Alaska, again, I mentioned this cold air for you is really going to be the biggest concern, and these temperatures are actually about 20 to 30 degrees below normal, so that's kind of crazy to think about that. But just be sure to always bundle up and brace for that significant wind chill, because frostbite, it's going to get you before you even know it's there. Now for the Aleutian chain, mostly cloudy skies, but you do have some of these strong wind gusts, about 40 to 50 miles per hour, some light flurries in Unalaska. Now you may see some very, very light rain. If anything, you're just going to see a couple of drops here and there, but otherwise you're going to stay mostly cloudy into Monday and also through the first half of this week. So get ready for just mostly cloudy skies and some windy conditions. But for South Central, these colder temperatures are really the big thing we're looking ahead to. You're going to notice for Kenai that low dropping to negative 11 and our high temperatures really sitting in the single digits, especially once we get to Anchorage and Matsu Valley. But for the Kenai Peninsula, you're still seeing some of these stronger wind gusts into Seward with these gusts up to 30 miles per hour, but mostly sunny skies stretching through. Now the Copper River Basin is not only an exception for these sunnier skies, but also you're seeing warmer temperatures, these temperatures in Cordova on the brink of freezing, but not quite. So still staying above that point, meaning that you could have that light rain. But if it does drop below freezing, you will either have that freezing rain or you'll see some of that snow, but very, very light, if anything. Now for the Matsu Valley, you're going to see some partly sunny skies. These lows are dropping back down to single digits and even dropping into the negatives in Willow, but overnight lows dropping down even closer to zero and below freezing or below zero in some of these areas. Now for Anchorage, our high is going to be around 6 degrees, much colder than what it was today. This is going to be about a 10-degree drop from what we felt today. But overnight lows again dropping to single digits before they reach the negatives later on this week. So Monday night and Tuesday night, that's when we're going to feel those more cold temperatures, or the colder temperatures, I should say. But later on this work week, we will have a slight warm up. We'll see if temperatures really do climb up to 30 degrees. But do get ready for some slightly warmer temperatures on the way by the end of this week. For Juneau, again, I mentioned that rain is in the forecast for the next 7 days, and these temperatures are not dropping below freezing. They're staying above freezing, staying relatively warm, so brace for more of that rain to come to you. And again, I want to mention one more time, just so you know, Tuesday is the day that secondary storm is going to push in more of that moderate to heavy rainfall and those strong winds as well. So get ready for that, not only just in Juneau, but really across the southeast region. But for Fairbanks, your colder temperatures are moving in by Monday night with lows dropping to negative 40. So I mentioned it during the broadcast, but if you want to join the 40 below club, Monday night is your chance to do it. So there is that for you. And of course, temperatures will begin to climb up as you progress through this week as well, into Wednesday and into Thursday as well. Now, let's see, there's your sunrise and sunset times if you really wanted it, but if not, that's okay. You have it up just in case. But good news is, of course, we're climbing not only with these temperatures from this weekend, now we're back on the decline, but we're climbing up in terms of that sun length as well. So longer days are coming. It's just more and more sunlight every day, which is always a nice thing to think about. But of course, get ready for those colder temperatures all across the state, except for Southeast. That's where these warmer temperatures are going to be into the upper 30s and low 40s for those highs. But of course, just be aware of that avalanche risk as well as that flooding risk, because those are very significant, and of course that will impact you in some way, especially if you own property. That's really the most impactful thing about it. So just of course stay updated and stay weather aware, of course. But yeah, I think that's all that I have for you into this work week. I'll be on the 10 p.m. show Monday night and Tuesday night, so if you want to see me, I'll be on the 10 p.m. show, but if not, that's okay. No hard feelings. So with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your Sunday. Be sure to bundle up and to stay warm, especially with these cold temperatures on the way. And with that, I will leave you with a nice view of Anchorage as these clouds are still sitting pretty low with that residual moisture lingering above.